Welcome to the Blockchain Hustle, where I take a look at some interesting plays of how blockchain technology is opening up new business vistas across multiple industries. Hi, this is your host, Meenu Serene, with the 10th episode of the series Blockchain in the New Norm. In the last episode, I introduced how supply chains in the new norm are getting repurposed with resilience and flexibility as the new mantra. How do you build critical supply chain resilience? How do you de-risk your supply chain? I will share two examples on this in this particular episode. And one is a company called Tymlez. It's spelled as Tymlez. And the other is Rapid Medical Parts. Now, one of the things that this pandemic has exposed, this is the dangers of over-dependence on a single vendor, or for that matter, over a single geography. Traditionally, buyers have their designated set of suppliers, prioritized mainly on their pricing, quality, just-in-time, etc. However, now the logistic companies, they need to become much more diversified. They need to spread themselves across a wider band of suppliers, their sources, and minimize the potential points of failures, shortage or lack of supplies, inability to deliver, etc. These guys, they need to create networks. A vetted marketplace helps to facilitate this, and one such is Tymlez. Now, in especially the early days of the pandemic, we saw a lot of hoarding. And this was not just of essential consumer products. Remember, this was when the toilet paper figured as a major weapon in an arsenal to combat COVID, but also of crucial medical supplies and equipment. Shortages, frauds, inferior quality medical products, they all made the news. And against this backdrop, the Dutch tech companies, they came up with this initiative called Tech Against Corona, in which they offered free support in the fight against the virus. And one of these companies is Tymlez. Tymlez is an enterprise-ready blockchain solution company, and it has a strategic partnership with the Dutch government. Now, Tymlez models the medical goods ecosystem through a blockchain-based platform. That platform is called TBSP, Tymlez Blockchain Solution Platform, to match the supply and the demand. And you can communicate with this platform via different clients like your web client, JS client, CLI. And the consensus engine which is used here is Tendermint. The objective is to create a blockchain-enabled, decentralized marketplace for your crucial medical supplies for fighting the disease, for fighting the pandemic. Inject transparency for the time-sensitive medical supplies like PPE, ventilators, etc. Now, Fadim Kaya, the company's senior blockchain ecosystem architect, he mentioned, and I quote, "If everybody in the network has the same information about the product and the product availability, if there is a single version of the truth available to all the actors in the network, we can enable critical part distribution to where the need is greatest." Unquote. This can prevent a power concentration. The second example that I wanted to share was on a company called Rapid Medical Parts. Now, this is an example of blockchain injecting agility into the supply chain. Now, the COVID pandemic, it brought in the shortage spike in the medical supplies, and one of the shortage items was ventilators. Rapid Medical Parts, which is a company set up in March this year, it quickly converted the standard sleep apnea machines into emergency ventilators. And these guys, they went from idea to company to design to patent to the DoD contract in 12 days. And the techs powering this agility, they are 3D printing, blockchain, and advanced manufacturing for the Industry 4.0. Let me share a bit on this story. Retired US Air Force Colonel James Regener, he started a digital supply chain company called Veritex, to produce on-demand parts using 3D printing. And these parts are for the aerospace, industrial, and medical sectors. It has an on-demand digital marketplace for the suppliers and the customers. And the aim here was to provide parts only when needed. Now, each part has its corresponding digital twin, which is a digital replica of the physical part. And as the physical part goes through the various changes during manufacturing, the digital twin, it tracks the same. And this tracking, it spans the complete life cycle of that part. And all that data which is generated, and there's quite a bit of it, like of the design, material, process flow, etc., all that is stored on the blockchain. And smart contracts are used to help in the immediate settlements. Now, in an article for the Canadian Metalworking, Colonel Regener shared a possible scenario in which there is a dire need for a mission critical part. And in that he says that even with a 3D printer on site, there are two main concerns. The first is, how do you know that your design data for that part is secure? It has not been tampered with. And secondly, how do you know that your processes, the materials, the build conditions, etc., they're okay to produce a good performance product? All these distill to trust in the process. And blockchain helps to provide this trust. Now, with the onset of a sharp demand for ventilators, the Colonel founded Rapid Medical Parts. It built a prototype for converting your sleep apnea machines, which are in ample supply, to the much in demand life essential ventilators. And it used the Veritex platform of the parent company. Now, this blockchain marketplace platform, it addresses some key challenges, like your supplier access and identification. In a crisis, one needs to rapidly identify and seek alternate suppliers. Your traditional set of limited suppliers does not work. Now, with the marketplace platform, you can get to tap on a larger pool of suppliers. And with a peer-to-peer trust platform, these suppliers can also get vetted. The second one is on provenance tracking. As everything about the parts with a complete life cycle, as everything about them are stored on the blockchain, the provenance tracking, where a particular product has come from, where it is going, etc., all the provenance tracking of the 3D designs and the parts is readily available. And the next one is getting trust and retaining control of the data. Now, as I mentioned in the last episode, one of the reasons why supply chain entities have been hesitant to digitize, to move away from the paper-based processes, is the trust deficit in revealing information about their operations, their sourcing, and so forth. The blockchain platform equips them with control over who can see the data, for what, and under what conditions. So in this particular case, the buyers, which are the hospitals, they can search for the required supplies and suppliers on this platform. And the vendor financial, certification, and other relevant information can be securely shared on the supplier's consent. So this is all for this episode. And I will share about a supply chain focused blockchain deployment kit from the World Economic Forum in the next episode. Till then, cheers. You've been listening to the Blockchain Hustle. Did you enjoy this podcast? If so, please do leave a short review, like it, share it, download it, subscribe to it. What should I talk about next? Please do let me know your suggestions by writing to me at meenu@vlsiconsultancy.com or through any of the other contact channels as shared in the episode notes. Thanks.